going to try to be as expansive and as brief as possible. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to walk you through initially some things that you guys have already done, and then talk a little bit about some details about why things work the way that they do, what you can expect from the software. Because I'm sharing, I can't see hands raised. So if anyone's like raising a hand to ask a question, someone just let me know, please. Like Leah or Jen, if you could do that, if you can see more people. We'll put something in the chat, which I should be able to see as well. But yeah, please do ask questions when you have them. So the first thing that you guys are going to need to do if you have not yet accessed the software is Leah and or Jen will provide you with the URL to log in. You will log in one time, you will be told that you do not have access, at which point you will be assigned a job. And once you are assigned a job, you will be able to fully access the employee end of the software. Right, this what you guys will see obviously is the part for the staff. Leah, Jen, myself, and others will be doing things on the admin end. And once they've assigned you a job, you'll have access to get to the staff end. First thing you need to do is go to the details page. That's where you'll go when you log in initially. Then you'll need to fill out all the contact or all the detailed information here. I believe every field with the exception of preferred pronouns is required, but it'll tell you that once you fill it out. And Leah and Jen, if there's anything that you want them to keep in mind about shirt size selection, feel free to chime in there. But you'll need to fill out all these fields in order to effectively use the rest of the software.
I would just like to say that there's no such thing as a polo at this point. It's just t-shirts.
Yeah, remind me to ask the guys to have that removed then from our.
I don't want to get anybody's hopes up that they're getting some really nice shirt.
That's a good point. Maybe in time. So that's the first thing you need to do. The next two things are going to happen on the jobs page and the availability page. You'll see a list of the jobs that you hold or that you've been assigned here. You'll see your pay rate, which may or may not be accurate. At the moment, it doesn't integrate with our payroll system, so the pay rate is somewhat inconsequential for the actual use of the software. We'd like to have it be accurate, and in time, we hope they do integrate, but for now, if it doesn't reflect your exact pay rate, don't worry, it's not affecting your pay in any way, if that's the case. So it's just the system requires to be put in a number. The thing that you'll want to do here is your certifications. Most jobs have required certifications, so you'll need to upload those. You'll just click add a new certificate, pick from the drop-down list which one you're uploading, put in the expiration date, and upload, and a standard document uploader. So all of you should have, at the very minimum, adult first aid CPR. If you have anything beyond that, you'll indicate, and if you have multiple, you can obviously upload multiple, as I was kind of in the process of doing. The next thing that you'll want to do is your availability. And I'm sure many of you have done this already. I think it's fairly straightforward and intuitive. The thing to know here is that you've got a few different things to do, not just the main page. I need to minimize you all so I can see all the things. When you come on the page initially, you're going to be in this view here, this weekly availability, which is your weekly template. All right. This is where you'll drag in the calendar and indicate whether you're unavailable or preferred. If you don't select a time, all the other white space means I'm available to work then. You need to indicate when you are unavailable to work. If you'd like to indicate when you would prefer to work, there's the auto scheduling mechanism that takes that into account on our end of things. You may do that, but you'll need to enter when you are unavailable to work. As I said, this is a weekly template. So this will carry forward essentially into perpetuity, but you guys will update that, each new semester, summer, and then for the fall once again. So you'll have the ability to make modifications when your schedule changes. But for the time being, you'll want to indicate your current availability. There is also a calendar view, which shows what you've put in for the weekly template. it'll show you preferred, you're unavailable. And if you click on this, it'll show your shifts as well. So you can see this is the shift that I gave myself as a lifeguard. This is not where you go normally to see your shifts, but you do have the option to see that when you're on the calendar view. And this obviously does take it, either day by day or week by week. So you can see that. On the config view, the one that you'll start out on, we're talking just the weekly template. In addition to the weekly template, you've got your what are called exclusions. These are things that are different from your normal template. So if you have a family event in 2 weekends, you're normally available on weekends, but that particular weekend you are unavailable, you'll want to go here, indicate, okay, on the on Memorial Day weekend, I actually picked my daughter's birthday. I'm normally available, but on this date, I'm unavailable. And actually, I would do that here because that's when it's meant to be done. I was just selecting the visible date range, and you can put in a reason there as well. Oh, all right. I'm not sure why I didn't refresh there, but that should show up on the calendar. And if not, then I will talk to the team. But that's how you'll enter your exclusions, those things that are different from your normal. Because I'm not looking at the, there we go. I put in I was available, that's why. So it can work both ways. If you would normally be unavailable on a given weekend and you're going to be available, you can do that as well. That's mistakenly what I did and why I couldn't find it.
I think, Ben, that this will come into play most likely during a semester when there's a Monday holiday, when you don't have classes, or I don't know if they'll move forward with reading days, for example. But if you put in your unavailable times for when you have classes, and then all of a sudden we have a day where we do not have classes, you could enter that as available times, for example.
Yeah, or spring break or something like that.
Right.
Where you've got your semester schedule in the spring, but that's different as well. So yes, great point. Thank you.
Winter break will be a big one too.
Yeah, I think maybe they'd probably change their availability in general for winter break.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how you'll use your exclusions. The preferences, this is really just what you're looking to work for hours. My understanding as the Lee and Jen's preferences right now is that really everyone should be set to 40 because that's the cap. But you do have that availability, and I think Leah and Jen will give you their specific directions for that come the semester. But that's where you have the ability to indicate your preferred number of hours for the week and for the day. All right. The shifts page is where you're going to see your shifts. So I'll click on the month view and you can see the lifeguard shift that I've got here as well. Each of the jobs have different colors. So if you hold multiple jobs, like many of you do, you'll see them in different colors on here. You've got just the standard day, week, month calendar views. In addition to seeing your shifts here, when you click on a shift, you'll see the information, but this is also where you can try to trade your shift. And the language might be a little bit confusing, but the way this works is if you're looking to give up your shift, you can come here and click trade shift. Please note that until somebody else takes this shift, it is still your shift. Just by virtue of posting it to the trade center does not mean that you've gotten rid of it. You need to continue to plan to work that shift until somebody else takes it. All of you who are lifeguards on the call are about to get an email right now. So when I post this to the trade center, okay, you'll notice that it stays on my calendar. It says that it's in trade as opposed to assigned. And I just want to expand this so I can see you. Let's see, Kevin, for example, I'm not sure who else is lifeguard. Kevin, you should have just gotten, if you have the app, you would have gotten a notification, or you will, yeah. Kevin just got a notification that there's a lifeguard shift available. So that's how quickly you get notified, and I'll show you where that comes from if you have that. So Kevin could take my shift. Don't do it yet, please, Kevin. But if you have the app, which we'll talk about in a minute, you'll get a notification. If you don't have the app or have notifications turned off, then you'll also get an email, which Kevin should have also gotten at this point, notifying him that there's a shift available for a job that he has.
I would just like to reiterate what you said as far as just putting it in the trade center, doesn't mean that you're not responsible for the shift. So in addition to putting it in the trade center, I would like to encourage you all to communicate directly with your fellow staff to try to find a trade, like exactly what we're talking about here. Instead of just a sub, you could offer, if you're having trouble getting rid of a shift, you could offer somebody to trade, especially the summer. If you can't work a specific day, maybe you could work another day and then another person could give up that shift and you could just swap a shift. But this doesn't mean, this isn't replacing direct communication with your fellow colleagues to try to work something out. Just putting it into the trade center doesn't get you off the hook. And so I would appreciate, direct communication using Slack or text or whatever, format you want to use to try to find someone to take your shift in the trade center would be what I would expect.
And just a couple more things on the language being used. So it's called Trade Center. I did come up with that name, but it's maybe not the best name because you're not actually trading shifts. It's not like, okay, you take mine and I take yours. That's not how it works. You've just put it up for someone else to take it. And you're not obligated to take a return shift. It's not a trade in that sense. So that's important to know. Second thing that's important to know is that at the moment, there is not a feature that allows a worker to give it to someone else. So, for example, Abby, if you know that you're going to give up your shift and Katie's like, oh, I'll take that shift because you both happen to be at the front desk. And as soon as Abby posts it to the trade center, it's up for anyone. So if somebody beats Katie to it, they have that shift. There isn't actually a function for Abby to give that shift to Katie. So if you're looking to give your shift to someone else, just kind of coordinate, hey, I'm going to post it right now. You're going to just go ahead and grab it because you can't actually, Sarah, I see you coming right to you in a second. You can't actually give your shift to a specific person. All you can do is post it. So if you want a specific person to have it, just coordinate the timing of that. Yes, Sarah, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, given how we also use Slack, I know that we could always message each other in that instance and be like, hey, can you not take that shift? Can my friend have it? Blah, blah, blah. But I was curious, is there a messaging feature in this?
Not on the employee app. So we as admins have the ability to message you guys via email. It's actually doesn't do text messaging right now. At least in that module, but and there is not a communication tool between student workers. So you guys will continue to use Slack for that purpose. Thank you. Good question, Sarah. Okay. Let me just minimize my view of everyone so I can get back to the software. Okay. So that's what you'll do on your end when you have the shift. On the trade center, this is where you'll go to see the shifts that you've submitted to trade, and you could cancel that here. If you decide, oh, you know what, I'm going to work that, come to the trade center, click cancel, it stays your shift. Below are listed all the other available shifts for any different job you had. It only shows you the jobs that you have. So you can't by mistake, take a job. If you're not a front desk worker, you can't mistakenly take a front desk shift. But you can see all the other ones that you have here. I'm not going to do this because it'll actually go through automatically. If I were to click request right now, the way that Jen has it set up, it would automatically transfer the shift to me. I believe Jen and Leah, you both have it set up to have automatic trades, right? No one's approving anything? Jen, could you confirm that for me?
Correct. Automatic trades.
Okay. The admin system does have a feature that allows trades to go through automatically or for a supervisor to require them. So if anyone was ever going to end up working for Allison, I believe there will be a supervisor approval process on that trade. But for you guys working for Jen and Leah, there's no approval. As soon as you click that request button and then click the confirm, yes, I want this shift, it is now your shift. So just know that. But that all happens there on the Trade Center, page. All right, other pages, well, actually, let me back up. Were there any other questions on pages I've showed you so far? Great. The other pages, the employee schedule, this, it's actually showing a different, in the evening, so I wasn't showing anyone. This page, employee schedule, is going to show you the employees for everything. So you can see who's working in every department at any given time. So if you were working the front desk and you need to know, hey, who's supposed to be on right now, you can do that here. You've got the date filters. You can filter by department or specifically by job. We don't use locations. Many other schools do, so you won't need to do that. We do have FRC and mainly outdoor setup, but that won't be something that you need to do. And you can search if you want to find about a particular person. Oh, when's this person working? I don't know why you need to do that, but you can. So you can find those all out. So this is a place that you'll want to come to if someone's, you're trying to find out, oh, who's supposed to be on right now, who we need to call because they're late, for example. And then the employee contacts, that's just what it says. All right, this is everyone again, even the people who aren't in your department. I'm only in the software, only an employee of the aquatics department as a lifeguard. But I can see everyone, even if they're not in the aquatics department. You can filter again by department and by job. I was just realizing this before as I was just kind of going through things. When you filter by name, it shows the first name first, but it's actually filtering by last name. So this is alphabetical ascending by last name, even though Zoe would be if it was first name way down at the bottom there. So just it's a little bit confusing. It's alphabetical by last name, even though first name is first. And then lastly, the mobile app. For those of you who has hands or thumbs up, who has the mobile app already? Okay, for those of you who don't, hold off. I've asked my former colleagues to make a switch in the URL. Right now we are Farmington at dscrec.com, and I actually want us to be UMF. So I've asked them to make that change. And when they do, everyone who already has the app will need to reinstall the app with the new URL. So if you don't already have it, just hold off on getting it because you'll need to redo it anyway. If you do, you can continue using it because it'll still work until the switch is made. But once we make the switch, we'll just have to let you know to reinstall the app.
Ben, do you have a timeline on that?
I'm waiting to hear back from our own IT. So I thought this would be done, but they're not getting back to me right now. So I need to follow up with that. I'll do that tomorrow, Jen.
Okay. If people want to download the app, I would encourage them to do so. It's been really helpful for lifeguards, in essence of just the trade center and whatnot. You will have to reinstall it, but it makes it a little bit more accessible to you instead of a desktop over the next week.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'll defer to you guys on how you want your staffs to do that. I guess I will say that just because you mentioned the app versus a desktop, this is a mobile responsive site. So even if you are using the browser on your phone, it's going to reformat appropriately. It's not some antiquated site. So you can still use the browser on your phone even if you haven't got the app. But
we've also requested that front desk computer has access to this website, correct? Or we are we are doing that, and that's on me, Leah. No, we're waiting for the new URL because they're going to do it by URL. Okay. And I didn't want to do it twice, so I got to follow up on that. Okay. So anyway, my point is that eventually you'll be able to access this all right at the front desk computer, but we have to request that we can reach that website. So that's in the works. Yep,
it will be. I don't think I need to share anything about the app. You guys know how to use QR codes. This is where your notifications are. The notifications for the app are set in the browser, not in the app, very unusually. So just be aware of that. And you've got the ability to get notifications, either email or push. So that's it. That's the software.